Hello and good morning, guys. This is Andy McCann. I'm here to help you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance. And today we're going to cover EBOO, external blood oxygenation, and ozonation. Is it worth it? And I went through it. I'm going to give you my experience. I think it's worth it. Spoiler, yeah, you should probably do it. At least give it a shot. You know, I live by principles. One of the principles is friends don't keep score, they just show up. So guys, if you need me, let me know. But the other is, if you have a problem that money can solve, then it's not a problem. So EBOO does cost a lot, but it could solve a problem. So think about that. The other thing we're going to talk about is the Survival Podcast fall workshop I just went to and what we talked about there. And then also the LifeWave patches, the X39 that I have been using. And the visible sign that it's doing something to me is my completely white hair of like 4 years ago now has black in it. And I don't know if it's getting any more. I mean, you can see it right there. Well, some of you on video. But for me, it is turning on. Well, the idea is that you want to turn on stem cells and activate peptides and all that, and or the other way around, whatever. And I honestly have not gone through all the technology. My wife is big into this, and she started slapping patches on the back of my neck, and the visible result for me is black hair. So anyway, we're going to go through that. All right, guys, saddle up. I do have an outline, but I am probably going to be very tangential on you this morning. I just got back. It is the 9th, Sunday the 9th. I'm doing a podcast ahead of time because I got energy, I got coffee, and I'd like to do this now and catch back up. And I just got back from our fall workshop. I did the EBOO thing, got on a plane, went out of town. When I came home, the Dulles and the Atlanta airport were completely fine, except for the air traffic control. So I got to the airport early in Dallas-Fort Worth, not Dulles, Dallas, and that's a completely different place. And sat there for 12 hours for us to get a spot to take off. Maybe it was 8 hours. So Paul, thank you very much. Paul had a good point. He's like, hey, you'll probably take off unless the crew hits their time limits, in which case I got to get a new crew and you're screwed. Okay, a little interruption there, which is technology you didn't even know. Olivia came over. Olivia's home from school. And when your kids are home and they say, hey, Dad, you want to go on a walk? You say yes. So I said, how about 30 minutes? She said, that's fine. So you guys get a 30-minute podcast. I have to wrap it up that fast. Which will be super challenging for me, as you know. Okay, so what is the Survival Podcast? If you're watching this as a video, awesome, you can see the things I'm going through. If not, I'm going to talk it through. YouTube, it's at Andy McCann42. Podcast, it's Fitness, Food, and Finance. Anyway, so the Survival Podcast with Jack Spirko. He started this back in 2008, and it's basically modern day survivalism or lifestyle design. Call it what you want. The idea is to be able to live a good life now if times are fine or even if they're not. So instead of saying, hey, you should buy $10,000 worth of grain and put it in your basement, he's going to say, learn to garden, because gardening is a forever skill while grain is not. Yeah. So it's that type of mentality. It is, diversify, buy Bitcoin and silver. Don't just buy bullets or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it's a very interesting group, very dynamic in the sense that some people are really into the permaculture, living a regenerative lifestyle. Some people are just into homesteading. Some people want to make a lifestyle living out of that. And how do they do that? Kind of like Jeff and Casey Parks. They do the homesteading as a living. So if you want fresh stuff here locally, from our gym, Jeff and Casey, go to their, actually, let me pull up their website. I think it's, I'm blanking on the name at the moment. Kate Parks Family Farm or Parks. Let's see if I can find it. Parks. There it is. Parks Family Pastures. They're here local in Cherokee, and you can. Wow, look at that! They got 410 members. That is awesome. Hey, Jeff and Casey, you've got members, and they buy things from you. We have a gym. We know, like, and trust everybody here. If you would like to invite any of those people to the gym, let me know. I will set up a class just for your people that they can come and experience what we do, and we'll do, like Saturday at 10, right after the 9 a.m. class or something. I will leave this up to remind me to actually tell you this because you may not listen to the podcast. Anyway, all right, so the Survival Podcast, it's good stuff. I do a Thursday bit for them on health and fitness, and it's usually like every other Thursday or every third Thursday I'll get on the show. So I just basically talk about to them what I talk about to you. All right, so we also have GarageFitness.online. It now has FitFlow, which is basically Andy's brain AI'd, and you can go in there and click around and say, hey, build me a workout that leans towards, and it'll use stuff that I know to give you something that's doable and practical and so forth. Then you can put in your levels. So it's good stuff. You can also track food in there. It does require you to put in your email address to stop the spam bots, because it does use AI. And every time you ask it something, it spins up the AI graphics cards. Well, not graphics cards, but chips. And costs us money. So we want to kind of control that a bit. I do put as many things as I can in our free resources. So if you go to CrossFitGarage.com/free, you will see a whole bunch of stuff. I just added the newbie questions and answers. So there's a whole lot, man, that's a lot of things I got on there for you guys. So go to free, look for the resources. There's 60 actual workouts you could do. Carnivore, 60 easy, it's a podcast, 32 at-home workouts, the healthy quiz, 24/7 access, exercise at your desk, regain mobility, the 5 pillars of health and longevity, lion diet playlist. There's all sorts of stuff, guys. So go there and check that out. Okay. So a couple gym things. Remember, the 2026, we've got things already planned. First is going to be Jen's nutrition kickoff, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. We'll do the 3 workouts from gym resolutions to do this every year as a tracker. It'll be 3 workouts you repeat every year. Then we've got CrossFit Open. That'll be in February 26th for 3 weeks. We have the Oak Mountain Adventure Race. I think maybe 5 of us are going out right now. That is March 21st. And then March 28th is the Savage Race led by Coach David Wallace. On April 18th, we will have the True Challenge or Festivus. Hopefully we'll have Lindsay doing photos for all these. And then on 4/27, we will do Bring a Friend. And right now it is set for June 12th, which I think is a Friday. I think a Friday might work better for people. Just come in the evening. It'll be hot, so that way we can hop in the pool, be cool, and I can grill and whatever. So we'll do the gym party at the McCann Family Farm here at the Zombie Compound. Okay, so real quickie on the nutrition challenge coming up. Coach Jen is going to launch this. It is for anybody and everybody. You're a member, great. You're not a member, great, whatever. You do not have to be in person. You can do this virtual. There is an opportunity to step on a scale, but you don't necessarily need to use our scale. You could kind of use any scale. It doesn't matter. It is nice to have a biometric scale, but whatever. It'll start January 3rd. The cost is $99. And if you're in person, there will be an in-person meeting to do a thing. Then after that, it's all online and group-based, virtual and stuff. So you will learn a lot of things. And, I mean, it's good stuff. If you've never done anything in your nutrition, this is a great start. You get several weeks. It's only $99, and you're going to learn a lot. Things that you can take with you for the rest of time. I've told you guys many times over, if you come to the gym 4 days a week, even if you half-ass it, but you also let me adjust your diet some, I promise you, you'll be fitter a year from now than you are today. Otherwise, I'll give you back times 10 your money. I know, right? I've never paid that out. It's been almost 20 years. Okay, so the Survival Podcast. I already told you a little bit about them. There is a video on my Facebook page that's just reshared from them, and I think it's a live broadcast, so it won't be there forever. You can go and listen to my presentation. Eventually, I'll do the presentation here on this podcast. You'll get it. But it's always more fun to see things live, so you can go there and watch that. I did put the FitFlow thing in there. I got some pictures from the event. An old member of ours, Broof Safji, he's the one that actually introduced me to all this. I did take a video of the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, which is totally fine to get through. Which wasn't fine was the Atlanta airport and the control tower. So it took a long time, like 12 hours to get through that. The thing, though, that I want to really jump to is this EBOO. I'm going to leave this video right here. Hopefully I remember to come back. That is the goo. So what you're looking at is a canister that is about the size of a 2-liter bottle. And inside of it is a semi-transparent, maybe opaque-ish liquid with foam on top. It almost looks like super hydrated piss, right? So you pee it into a jar. It's like just a little yellow with foam on top. Actually, weirdly, it does look like that. And it's not my piss. It's actually coming out of the EBOO machine. So let's talk about EBOO. And is it for you? So the idea is, hey, my body may be broken or I may have too many toxins inside my bloodstream. How do I affect that? Because it's not my digestive tract. Does everything that I metabolize go into my bloodstream and work effectively? The answer is, I don't actually know. So I do know that men die 4 times more once they turn 50, and it's from strokes and heart attacks. So blood clots in the brain and blood clots in the circulatory system. And I would like to help that. I will hardly ever recommend a thing if I haven't done it myself. So I went into Thrive Medical, which is across the street from us here in Woodstock. So right next to Ish Black Rifle Coffee. They hooked me up to this machine and we did this thing. I'm going to give you the summary of what I did. Then I'm going to go back into my notes. So the summary is, they said, Andy, here is the pre-procedure things you should do. And I said, no thanks. So it was basically assuming that you're a normal person eating the normal American diet with the standard normal American diseases, which I'm not. I do carnivore and I do CrossFit. So their thought was, look, if you're eating that much fat and you have that much cholesterol, it'll probably gunk up the mechanics, the needle, right? It'll clog it up. Most people's cholesterol sucks ass, so yes, it would. I have studied mine and gone under the advanced lipid study, like where they use a microscope to look at your lipids, your LDL and HDL. My LDL is super wicked awesome. So I was like, it may not be a problem. This may be a thing where a carnivore doing CrossFit might be better than the blood you normally see, and so maybe we don't need to do a thing. Turns out I was right, and Kennedy was super cool. She's like, all right, if you want to try it that way, that's fine. But if you get in here and we bring our person down, we start stabbing you and it doesn't work because it's all clotty and you didn't do our procedure, it's still $300. I'm like, that's fine. I think the whole thing was maybe $1,100 or something like that. And but for me, well worth it. Again, if you have a problem that money can solve, then use your money, man, right? All right. This is a coffee break for you, Jamie, and I know she likes it when she's like, you should drink coffee while you're doing these because it sounds more real. So I just hope to not stutter so much. Maybe not stutter, but clear my throat and all those things. Oh, right. So I did not do their procedures. What I did ask them to do is like, look, if the problem is the hole may get clogged, could we go to a wider hole in the needle? And they're like, yeah, we can, but no one usually likes that. So they moved from an 18 gauge to a 16 gauge. When you drop it down in gauge, it's actually a bigger pipe, which is weird. It's the same thing on wire. It's the same thing on shotguns. So bigger pipe, smaller the number. So I said, I'm happy with a 14 gauge. They're like, nah, that should be fine. If you're willing to go 18, everything should be good. Now, when they did stab me, it did hurt a little bit, but that's how needles work. They pull it out and it leaves the plasticky bit in there. And because of where they did it, I had to keep my arms straight most of the time. So as soon as she said, don't bend your arms, I was like, my head itches. So they get the needles in, everything's fine, it's going smooth. I never had a problem. Now, back up a bit. They did say take this nitric oxide pill because it would help your blood flow. It would make your blood less viscous, so more like water and less like bad oil. And but it might drop your blood pressure some. So I said, I got really low blood pressure, so this may be a problem. And anyway, it turned out it was. I took the pill, felt lightheaded, asked ChatGPT, and it said, hey, I've seen your blood work, and you're probably going to pass out, so lay down. So I did. I called my wife and my son and said, hey, I'm fine right now. I'm laying on the floor. I'm probably going to pass out. Come check on me. If there's piss and crap on the floor, then you know I've died, because when you die, you release your bowels. If not, I'm okay. So that was a little too scary, and they ran over to check on me. I was fine, but the pill did push my blood pressure down. So note to all of you carnivores, which this podcast is specifically really, really, really niche. Should you do EBOO? Yes. Should you do if you're a carnivore and CrossFitter, do this? Yes. I just wouldn't follow the standard procedures because your blood's probably going to be more than fine. Anyway, when they do this thing, they oxygenate it and your blood gets a brighter color. Mine did not get very much brighter, which means my blood was very well oxygenated. And they said, probably for you, you're not going to feel energized. You'll feel tired. And sure enough, I was a little bit tired. Like the next 2 nights, I went to bed early. And I was unfortunate because I was at that trade show or the fall workshop. And I was like, dude, I have got to go to bed. I am like crashed out. So I probably shouldn't have done it and then traveled, but I did. So for you carnivores, should you do this? I think so. I think the answer is yes. I'm not a doctor, so, use your own judgment. But do you need to follow the procedures? Probably not. I didn't need to do it. As a matter of fact, I didn't change my diet at all. I did eat a sweet potato just before. So I have had now 3 sweet potatoes or maybe 4 sweet potatoes in the last 16 months. Did I need to do that? I don't think so. So while they were doing this, they were measuring my blood sugar because they said, hey, this usually does drop your blood sugar, and if it does too low, you could die. So we're ready to give you apple juice or orange juice. I said, nope, not going to do that. And they said, well, we can shoot glucose directly through the pipes, the IV, to get it in your body. I was like, I guess so. I don't want to die, and I'd rather it go that way than drink it because your tongue is an asshole, and once you put sugar on your tongue, it's hard to break that. Turns out, if you're doing carnivore, your body is learning to make its own glucose, just like when you have when you do testosterone replacement, your body stops making as much. If you go off of it, it takes a while for your body to remember to make more. So I'm guessing, I don't know this for true, this is me and my brain, saying that if you stop eating sugar and carbs, then your body, which needs glucose, will make the glucose for your brain and other parts of your body. So my glucose was 130 when we started, and we finished, I think it was like 124, something like that. So it only dropped a couple points, and they were amazed. Me too. I don't even really know what's going on, but they were amazed and said, that's very fascinating. I would love to have more carnivores come through this so we can check those results. And this is the problem with eating this way and living this lifestyle. There's not many of us that do it. There are some people, like I know a lady online on YouTube that's been doing carnivore for like 15 years. Then there's Dr. Ken Berry, who we know, like, and trust, and he's been doing this for maybe like 8 years. I'm 15 years, no sugar, no carbs, or no bread, and almost a year and a half of just carnivore. So, and I eat the same 3 things, which is probably bad. I have been trying to add avocado just to, I don't know, should I? I don't know. So, we'll see. Okay, so that's EBOO. That's how it works for a carnivore. Can you do this? Yes. Should you do it? I think so. But, you know, I'm an unfrozen caveman lawyer. Don't trust me. Find a place that will walk you through the procedure. There is a thing. Oh, man, let me think of the name of it. There is a genetic disorder where you're more predisposed to having either the ozone or the oxygen, ozone, when they blow the O3 across you, or it's UV light. I think it's the UV light. The membranes of your blood cells are sort of weaker, and when they hit you with UV, it'll actually disrupt them, and it looks kind of like rhabdo. So you should probably get that test. I call it the R2D2 test, but it's not, obviously it's not called that. Let me see if I can find it in my notes. For you, it is called there it is. It's the G6PD deficiency. So they say it's more common in African, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Southeast Asians. Now, my mom's parents came over on a boat from Italy. That's Mediterranean. So my mom is 100% Italian. That makes me, I guess, 50%. My dad's family is Germany and Ireland, so that's now European. So I don't know, right? Am I susceptible? I don't know. I had him do the test because it would suck to do all this and then, you know, in the pursuit of health, actually hurt yourself, which maybe some of these shots that people do, you know, it does that. Anyway, so go get that beforehand. It's easy. Just do a normal blood test. Actually, they did the whole blood test. I'm going to take that and dump it into ChatGPT and say, hey, give me my stuff. So we'll see what it says. Actually, maybe I'll pull that up here and let you guys see some of my blood work. Okay. Yes, so you should do this, or I think you should do it. I think it's worthwhile. It is good money spent to see what's there. You get to see the goo. Let me show you back. This is my goo. It was Kim, not Kennedy. She said that my junk that came out looks way better than any other junk they have pulled out from anybody else so far, which is, I think, sounds good. So this healthy guy's trash is pretty clean. And that's something you can tell. Like if you take a dump and it smells hellacious, well, your insides are probably messed up. If you go to the bathroom and you're like, yeah, it doesn't really smell, chances are your insides are fine, right? So there is an indicator of smell as death or smell as bacteria or smell as something bad. Now, obviously, it's not going to smell like roses, but you get my point. All right, so in this picture, let's see. To my left side in this picture, first thing is this pipe right here. This is let me see if I can widen this up. Can I? Nope. I did the exact wrong thing. Can I make it bigger? Maybe that's this. Enlarge. Hey guys, this is Andy McCann. There we go. Okay, so I enlarged it, and this container on the right here is a mechanical filter. It's actually what they use for dialysis, and they reverse it to catch big particles. And then it has a drip tube. That's where most of the stuff is coming out. The machine to my right, let's see if I can get that in there. Yeah, there we go, right here. So the machine to my right, that is the ozone and oxygenation. So it goes through that, then so it comes out of in this case, my left arm goes into the machine, comes out of the machine, and then it's gonna head over to my other side. I don't know if I got a video of that. I don't think I did. Where the UV light is, I didn't. I do have a picture of the goo, so I'll just hang out on the goo picture side. Right there. So on my other side is a UV light emitter, and it pulses different UV lights and different wavelengths, and it'll do different things. And then they pump it right back into your arm. So this is a catch basin that, like I said, is about a 2-liter bottle, and in the bottom of it had about a soda can's worth of stuff. They called it inflammation, and they said, yes, we could send it off to get tested if you really want to know what it is. I was like, I don't know. It's out, and it was bad. She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's good enough for me. So I did not go further with that. Okay, so I did say that I was going to talk about LifeWave patches as well. I'm going to get there. So this is 2 things. This is your EBOO and LifeWave patches. Let me go through my outline that I had pre-written to see if I missed anything that I want to do. Okay, so that was a good point. I'm pretty sure I said it, but I'm going to say it again. That apparently carnivore folks are going to be, and even if you're doing CrossFit, you're going to be low inflammation, so not much stuff will come out. You have stable glucose, which is freaking awesome. And I guess mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, like that is working very well. So I did not have very much issue with anything. All right, so the machine, it's going to, some people posted it on there, Andy, your body does this anyway. Yes. This is if you're broken, or if you want to check a thing or accelerate, like maybe you are sick or took some shots or whatever, and you're trying to get yourself cleaned up. It's to help. Does it help? The answer is, I don't know. I'm pretty healthy and I feel pretty good. I still feel pretty good. I did pull my hamstrings doing some heavy back squats, my left one, and this sort of helped. It doesn't hurt as bad. So is that, going to happen anyway? Is it nature, or was it for realsy? I don't know. So it's going to mimic your lungs and liver. So the ozone is obviously not inside there, but it's going to clean. And then oxygen, that's your lungs, and it's going to add oxygen. UV exposure is not normal, but that's what your body's doing, is clearing out pathogens anyway, and UV is supposed to kill small living things like bacteria and parasites and stuff. Obviously filtering, so that's like your kidneys, and so it's mimicking what your body should do anyway. So if you have a broken thing, this could be pretty good. If you're just healthy, then it might be good to see what's going on. So if you've got something broken, like a Crohn's diagnosis or something, then you're constantly in a inflammation state or an oxidative stress. And so this is going to help relieve some of that stress to give your body a bit of a break. So this is why I think it would work well for Evan, especially the UV light, to kill any leftover things that may be in his blood. So you can go to the doctor, and the doctor will look at your blood under a microscope, and you can sometimes see squiggly things. That's not great. So you want to go and fix that. All right, so men in your 50s, and we talked about this, clots, inflammations, and metabolic syndrome. This is going to help with that. You don't know what it looks like in there, because unless you're cutting yourself to see your blood, you just don't really see that stuff. So increased oxygen is good. You're going to help with their flow. I mean, just going and getting an IV pumped in could help. If you add liquids, then by definition, you're going to decrease the viscosity of what's going on there. Now, the question I would have is, like, it's oil and water. Oil and water don't mix unless you have some sort of emulsifier. Now, you could use something like a very fast turbo spin that'll break everything up, and then eventually it does split back out. But you can add like a salt or something, and that does help emulsify. So if you put liquids into you, is it emulsifying with your blood correctly? I don't know. I think they would have had that all figured out because they're doctors, but who knows, right? That's their gig. You have to look that one up. Okay, I'm going to switch gears on there. And if you have questions, email me, andy@crossfitgarage.com. I'm happy to help. The other thing I'm going to throw at you is this LifeWave stuff my wife's been into. It is a technology that a guy, I don't know his name, I kind of remember the stuff she says, but not as good as her. And a fellow developed this for the military. Eventually we took it out of the military to bring to the public. They did it internally through doctors and stuff, and then someone said, hey, you should do it a lot more like Mary Kay and Amway. Give people who have testimonies of how this worked to talk about it and sell it for you. So this is how my wife got involved. She started using them and saw some great results. So she loves to fix and help people in a sideways way for health. So our family does not go to the doctor much, but we do a lot of enemas. I know you're like, wait, what? Yeah, go check out enemas and how it can help you when you're sick. I'm not going to go into that because, I don't know, it's funny and it's weird, but my kids aren't very sick. And when they are sick, we're like, hey, if you're going to skip school, you know what's going to happen. And they're like, yeah, I'm not that sick. So maybe it's psychosomatic. I don't know. Anyway, so she found these LifeWave patches. The biggest thing is it's a reflective technology that uses crystals, so like salts and sugars, to reflect back your own light or heat wavelength. So bear with me while I explain this poorly. If you look at a person, you're seeing, or look at the world, you're seeing the visual spectrum. Now, on the other sides of Roy G. Biv, there's low light, which is like heat, and then there's high light, which would be, I don't know, like UV, like things you can't see, right? Ultraviolet. So, Biv is blue, indigo, violet. Ultraviolet is beyond that. You can't see it. Roy is red. You go further down on that. That's kind of that heat spectrum. If you took a thermal scope and you shined it out there on something, particularly that was alive, you're going to see the heat signature from it. So now you, like the Predator from the movie, are seeing heat. Heat is just a wavelength of light that we can't see, right? Or it's a wavelength, not of light. It's a wavelength. Visible light. I don't know. It's going to get confusing. I'm not going to go into physics. Just go with me on this one. If I were to put a mirror on your skin, it would reflect the light of your skin because it's seeing your skin, right? If I upgraded it or downgraded that mirror, I could reflect back anything else that you were putting off. We all put off heat, otherwise we'd be dead, right? 98.6, whatever we are. We're putting off heat. This is reflecting that light wave back at you, and I think what it does is creates a feedback loop, so your body goes, oh, look at that, I am not putting off the right stuff, let me correct this thing. There are people with testimonies on using this that have had some crazy healing happen. Is it anecdotal, 1 = 1? It could be. I have seen this in my own life. Like I'm pointing right here with my hair. She started patching me at night, and my hair started turning black again. Is it fully black? No. It's just amazing that it is somewhat black because my hair was as black as pitch growing up, and then it went fully white by the time I was like, I don't know, like 32 or something. So right here I am with black in my hair again. I'm about to go cut it, so it'll look even more black when I cut it. What can it do for you? Man, I don't really know all the answers. I do know the people that it has worked well on, and some people it doesn't do anything for, has been, in their words, quite amazing. I've seen people touch their toes after not being able to bend over from pain or seizing up or whatever. I've seen headaches go away. My niece had a bad migraine coming on. Patch. She's like, wow, that's crazy. I don't have to go to the room in the dark. People have used it for various things. I don't know this stuff. You'll have to go research it. And actually, I will put it in the show notes. This is Verity's link if you want to sign up or buy something from her or talk to her. I know, like, and trust my wife, and I've seen what she can do. If you know, like, and trust me, then extend that over to Verity and ask her. While we were at the Survival Podcast, one of the guys said, I've got this thing that has a very long name that I can't pronounce. And I said, say it into my phone and let me see if my wife has dealt with that. And the answer was yes. So he said it's been so long that his spine has fused together, so it's not just pain, but it's actually fused now. So she had worked with somebody where it hadn't fused yet, and he was able to touch his toes. What does that mean for you? I'm just saying it could be maybe. It comes out to like $3 a patch. It's not drugs. It's, what do they call it? I don't know. It's just not patch. It's a reflective technology. Like if you were using copper or magnets when you wear those and you take that. So how it exactly works, I don't know, but there is a website here that they use. It's called thisisitinfo.com. You can click on that and just look things up. But I have found it to be pretty fascinating, and it's a thing that I do to check out for you guys to say, will it work? Maybe. So if you're broken or have a thing, talk to Verity. If you want to recover better and faster, talk to Verity. I use this, like I went on that 15K run, and I said, yeah, my legs are so lactic acidy, it hurts just moving around. She did slap, put these patches on my thighs, and I forgot about it because it was better a couple hours later, and she said, how was it? I'm like, how was what? She's like, exactly. So anyway, I'll put both of those links in the show notes so you can find them, and you can ask her about that. So just email me, text me, whatever. I can get you Verity's information, and she can talk to you about it. It is not something that I'm really doing. I just use them, and I find it to be pretty effective. Could it be placebo? Sure. The placebo effect is super real. Matt Cersei, Matt, I'm going to blow your name. Matthew Cersei, anyway. He was talking about the placebo effect and how real it is. Even in a double-blind study, people were told this is the placebo, and it still worked. Okay, that is it for you guys today. EBOO for carnivores doing CrossFit, yes. EBOO for everybody else, yes. LifeWave patches for those people out there, I mean, yes. I have seen it with my own eyes. Will it work for you? I don't know, but it's such a low cost to do a thing to see if it would work. I guess the other thing too is if you wanted to use it as a business, you can do that too. Who hates money, right? If you find that it helps you well and you want to help others, you can. And then by helping others, basically it pays for your patches, so it's essentially free. But it gives you the ability to have an LLC. And we talked about in another podcast in the money side of it. If you have an LLC, you can then expense a lot of things before taxes, which is great. So it moves your taxable income down. All right, guys. Hey, this is Andy McCann here with CrossFit Garage. If you live here locally in Woodstock, come to the gym. Come see us. If you're not local and you want help, we have garagefitness.online. And I'm always happy to help you. If you track your food and movement for 2 weeks, I'll give you an hour of Zoom for free because I want you to live well and prosper. All right, guys. Our job is to help you look good naked and avoid dying early. Y'all take care.